Everyone, we're live on Facebook. Hello out there. Like us and follow us. We're going to share the show later on. My next guest is not a newbie. He's been on the show for over 5 years, probably longer than that. I have with me Howard Farkash. He is an insurance and benefits advisor, and I want you to tell everybody why everybody should just call Howard.
Well, first of all, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to our audience. And let me tell you, you hit the nail on the head when you said I'm not a newbie. That was for darn sure.
No, he's not.
There you go.
Wait, just for, I can't say the word and giggles, how old are you?
Really
Howard, yeah.
How old is Howard? Howard will be 83 on my next year.
Wow.
But people look at me, I don't tell them I'm 83. When I meet people, I say to them I'm 62. And they look at me, you're 62, you look so old. And I say to them, that's because I've worked a lot of overtime.
Oh, that's funny,
right, so
Howard. And you know what, you've been in the insurance world for how long?
Well, I started in the insurance business back in the early 1990s,
wow.
basically. And it's been really an exciting venture for me, basically. I actually got into this business, I came from a totally different industry. I owned my own business in conjunction with several other fellas. And one of my oversight responsibilities was to check in on the benefits program. I sold that business. We sold our interest in that business. I moved out here to Arizona to assist my parents with their retirements. I took up golf, and the only thing that happened, my scores did not get lower, but my swearing got increased, okay? So I said, I've got to do something else. I'm a hotshot sales guy. I was in the marketing and sales end of my business. And but at that point in time, nobody wanted me. I was there. You won't believe it. We actually do have age discrimination in this world. Okay, so I said I'm going to turn the model. I'm going to go into selling the insurances, selling the benefits that I oversaw when I had my business. And it's been a great adventure. I really liked it very much. I concentrate and focus on health insurance and Medicare, life insurance, long-term care or care beyond Medicare, because Medicare doesn't cover everything. And I also do some work in the disability income area. That's where you become sick or injured and you can't go to work, and you still need income, basically. So those are the areas that I focus on. The biggest part of my work is Medicare and the care that comes associated with Medicare. But life insurance is also a very important part of my work, as is long-term care, which means some of us become either frail or injured or have a stroke or something like that, which requires long-term care, or the graduation of care. We go from independent living to assisted living to skilled nursing facilities. But the thing about all of this is it needs financing, and that's the area that I come in. I come into the area of financing that care, how it's going to be done best for you. We have excellent Medicare plans here in Arizona, whether you choose a Medicare Advantage plan or you choose a Medicare supplement. But neither of them cover everything. In fact, I was just looking at a recent ad, and it raised the question, and I'll read that to you. It says, does your health plan cover what you really need? Find out what you're missing.
Probably not.
And more we're coming to discover that in many cases it doesn't cover what you need. So now I'm focusing not only on meeting the requirements of the people who I'm dealing with on a daily basis, but also going back and working with people that I have worked with before and saying, we didn't cover everything. Because when we sell Medicare or make a placement on Medicare, we don't necessarily spend a lot of time and say, great, you just bought a plan with holes in it, okay? And we have to do that. We have to cover the gaps, because the gaps can become expensive, okay? On a Medicare Advantage plan, you could be spending as much as $350 to $450 or $500 a day on a hospitalization. So walk out of the hospital 5 or 6 days in the hospital, and you've got $3,000 staring you in the face that you're responsible for. Sure, the hospitals say you could finance it, but they don't tell you all the costs of financing it. They will tell you there's no interest loans, but those no interest loans are only good as long as you make every payment on time. Then they become back to $1 loans with credit. So you have to be aware of that. Many people believe Medicare that provides you with long-term care. That is not true at all, nor does it provide you with memory care, which is really an offshoot in a specialized area of skilled nursing, basically. So for all of these reasons, how are you going to finance things becomes the questioning. You could finance it yourself out of current earnings if you're very, very fortunate and life has been fortunate to you and you've got the funds, that's wonderful. You can do it through a traditional long-term care policy. That's another issue of do you have the money for one. You could do it by doing leveraging, what's referred to as leveraging. You can get an annuity, which we'll just use a figure here, say $100,000, take it out of an annuity, which is a specialized savings account that you have. Put it into another specialized savings account, but this account will not only grow your money, but it will also allow you to take that money if you need it for long-term care, and perhaps double or triple the amount that you have put in. So these are a lot of detail type products, and I enjoy working with the analysis and the detail.
I love that you just used the word detail, because I was gonna ask you, is it okay?
You can go
Did I
ahead.
talk about you?
Sure.
Because when it comes to detail, you are all about, when you ask a question, you in detail will explain it. And I love the way that you'll even just email it all out, word for word, as to what you would actually have said, and help that person understand whatever question it is completely.
Well, that's why it's important to work with somebody like me, or me specifically. What is my phone number?
His phone number is 602-909-8433.
Right, work with me or somebody who's like me, basically, people who really do care about getting you the very right product and then supplementing it with other elements that will give you the roundabout and complete care that you absolutely need, give you the financing for that care. Now, everybody doesn't have to buy a policy. Some people might be able to get into a reverse mortgage situation. That's fine. All we're trying to do is generate cash, okay? Because you're going to need cash as you grow older. And the products that are available out there are not necessarily for forever products. Some of them may only cover you for an additional 2 or 3 years. But realize that that is very average, the length of time that you need this care, that you might need placement into an assisted living or a memory care unit. So you have to plan for the worst and hope for the best. And that we sit down, we look at your financial situation, we come up with alternatives, and then we decide what we're going to do. But underlying a financial plan also has to be what are you going to do when excuse the expression, I think I'll still be legal here, when the fit hits the shan, okay?
Oh.
A little scary there, huh?
Yeah, very.
Right, okay. But the real point comes down to, you have to have a plan in place first. You have to have an idea of what's going to happen. Then you have to ask yourself, how are you going to finance it? And we'll find the ways to help you finance it.
You know, here's the thing too, Howard, you walk in their shoes, you've been there. You have been in.
I'm there right now, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And you know that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
my
mean-
wife suffered a stroke approximately a year ago, and right now we are fixing on. I decided not to trigger our long-term care policy because I didn't know how. It's only good for X number of dollars, and I didn't know how long she was going to live. Still don't know how long she's going to live. That's one of the planning variances in this. We don't know how long people are going to live.
But you thought, and I gotta bet you, she might be watching, listen, you thought she might go, and she got better, a
Well,
little bit better.
That's true, because of all the great care she's getting.
I mean, yeah,
And
I
who's
mean, you didn't
providing that
expect
care?
it, so here's now even longer
Right.
that she's
so,
living.
Right, so I held back on triggering that policy, but it's really meant an awful lot of work for me in order to be her caregiver. That includes medications throughout the day. Medications are relatively easy. That includes assistance going to the restroom, for example, assistance in getting out of bed, getting the meals all prepared, okay? Things of that nature which I never had to do. Restroom trips, that's all part of what's in there. Showers, now I don't give her a shower. We do have someone coming in for that.
Why not? That would be fun.
Well, it could be, but not after 60 years. Yeah.
I wouldn't want it either, Howard.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm glad you feel that way. Anyway, but the moral of the story is that long-term care can last for a long term, but it does, if you're not going to get it, if you're not going to figure out where you're going to go and who's going to provide you with that care, then it's even more difficult to figure out how to finance it.
So the first thing is really to just call Howard and have that consultation. It is a free service, again, been talking about that today. It's a free service to the families there. It makes sense, even if you think you've got it all together, you may not.
Well, let's not talk about old people anymore, let's talk about young people.
Okay, well, we will when we get back, okay?
You promise?
I promise.
Okay.
But what I really want is for people to understand that, you know, there are so many things that we think about, but there's also a lot of things we don't think about. Things that you don't know that are gonna come up in your life, and that's where you come in and help people. It's all about, how are we gonna be able to generate that cash?
I try to be a no surprises guy.
He is, it absolutely is. And when it comes to intricacy, Howard's got that picture right in the dictionary right next to his name. The number is 602-909-8433. Hang tight, we'll be back in just a minute. We're still live.
I understand.
Do you ever play the lottery?
A little bit on the wild side there, huh?
Oh, wow, that was a little wild, it was funny.
Yes,
That's good
but it
though.
was legal.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if he has to say it like really loud and listen to it, Bill, he won't.
Okay.
He knows that you were very careful. You didn't say what you said. You said you were fine.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, because then you'd have to really figure out how to come up with cash.
Yeah, legal defense, right?
Yeah. No, it's FCC rules. But anyway, no, you're fine. And you wanted to talk about young kids.
Well, not young kids, I
Well,
want to talk about
young-
another aspect
younger-
of my agency, basically.
Oh,
I
okay.
wanna talk
What do you
about-
mean when you said you
wanna
wanted to talk about
I
younger
want to talk
people?
about financial literacy, basically.
Okay.
Right, we're gonna talk about that, and I have my own definition of financial literacy.
Okay.
I make fun of what is taught as financial literacy in high school. They teach you to balance a
Okay.
checkbook. Nobody balances a checkbook.
No one even uses
anymore.
one.
Right, exactly.
Uh-huh.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about understanding the kind of products that
Okay.
help make your journey that much easier, basically.
Okay.
So that's what we're gonna drive at.
Okay, sounds good.
And I'm gonna offer, if I have enough presence of mind, I'm gonna offer some, I'll offer my books and my white papers.
Oh, you're gonna do that?
Yeah,
Well, why didn't
sure.
you do that right away?
Well, no, we'll get into it, we'll figure it,
Okay,
it'll
I
come
won't worry.
along. It'll come along. So,
The
yeah.
white paper and book.
Yeah,
What's the book gonna be? Medicare Made
Well, I
Easy?
have a financial literacy book,
Oh,
which I think is important.
okay.
And then I have a book that Medicare Made 1, 2, 3 Easy.
Oh, that one, uh-huh.
Yeah, and then I've got
Uh-huh.
my how to hire a broker, basically. Don't do this yourself, you don't know what you don't know. I mean,
I'm gonna let you do it.
I'm wound
Are you
up.
gonna give it away or just talk
Oh,
about it?
No, I wouldn't give it away, call me.
Okay.
Call me. It's a call to action.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I may look old, but I'm still functioning.
I get that, I can see that, Howard.
You see the fun we're having? Yeah, that's great.
I'm gonna make you talk about all of the books and the things that you want to first, so we can try and get that number
Okay,
out.
you can do anything you want, you're in charge.
I know.
You own the place.
So welcome back, everyone. We're talking with Howard Farkash, and we are learning so much during the break here. And some of the things that Howard was talking about that he'd like to do, which number one is you've got a white paper, you've got a book, and we're going to open up the lines. What we're going to actually let him call you. Just call Howard is what we're going to do. And first of all, let's talk a little bit about your white paper and the books that you want to give out to everybody.
Well, Carol, let's come back and put that in somewhat of a context, basically.
Okay, I thought I was in charge.
Got me there. Hey, here's the deal. We spent a lot of time in the earlier part of the program talking about problems that people run into when they're seniors, and quite often that happens because of lack of adequate preparation and lack of understanding of financial matters as they are younger. So I also serve a younger population just as well, and that population is the children of these seniors, basically, and just friends and neighbors that I've met along the way, and part of a networking group that I belong to. I receive leads for young people, And so my business includes things like life insurance, health insurance, disability income, long-term care, all that's really part of it. And in order to advance my business, I've created several white papers, one of which is you're going to deal with brokers in the financial world. And the question is, how do you choose a broker that's right for you? You can ask a friend or two, that's great, and maybe they'll give you the name of their broker, and they like their broker, and their broker works well with them. But that's about all you have. And they're probably not going to recommend to you a bad broker, so that's a good way to start on getting a good broker. But you want a broker who's going to be broad enough in his understanding of finances, and as welcome and as open in finding out what your needs happen to be, so that he gets you, or she gets you, the very right products. So I've created a white paper, because you're really interviewing somebody to be your broker. You're hiring them. You're hiring them to do a job for you, basically. So there are questions that you need to ask. So I created a white paper on how to interview a person in order to make them your broker.
To get that, you call Howard at 602-909-8433.
And then for the financial literacy part of this program, which we do run basically, we have a book that we offer, and I'll mention it in just a few moments. But one of the problems, again, getting back to those seniors who have financial problems, is because they didn't take care of business, and people don't understand that they are in business, no matter what your faith is, no matter what your occupation is. You know, YMCA talks to us about body, mind, and spirit. Well, that's all well. Go to the Y and get work on your body, eat properly, that's all working on your body. Work on your mind, you go to school, you get an education. And spirit, you have some sort of spirituality, whether it's organized religion or something you discovered on your own, Zen behavior, etc. Well, those are all important aspects, but no matter what you do, you live in a financial world, an economic world, and you have to understand what's available to aid you in your journey. Because if you don't do things properly, then you're going to wind up with problems as an older person, and those problems are more difficult to solve, basically. So I do work with people as young as 25 years old in talking about their retirements, because the social networks that used to be in place are no longer in place. Can I help you read a book that's going to help you out? Sure, I can. So I've got a book, How Money Works, basically. And you can call my number. What was that number?
602-909-8433.
Right, you can call me, and we'll get the book in your hands. Now, I make fun of what's known as financial literacy. We say the schools don't teach financial literacy, and they don't. But now they're getting on the ball. They're now teaching high school kids how to balance their checkbooks. Well, first of all, nobody balances a checkbook anymore. Nobody uses checks anymore, or hardly ever in reality. So that's not hitting the ball squarely, okay? There are so many other things that you need to learn about. You need to learn about insurances. You need to learn about annuities. You need to know about stocks, bonds, mutual funds. And then you have to know how they work best for you. Now, those are things that my agency can help you with. Either I have that resource within my agency, or I have access to people who can help you with those types of things, basically. So that's the exciting part of the business, is meeting new people and bringing them into understanding finances, because body, mind, and spirit alone are not going to do it for you. I love the YMCA. I've gone to the YMCA a whole lot. That's what helped me get to be 83 years old. I've had some health issues, but I'm sure the condition I was in helped me get over those. And now I'd like to be able to share that with many more people.
The number to call them is 602-909-8433. Call and either ask or for both. The white paper, that is really how to interview a broker, and I bet you would love for them to interview you.
They can interview me. I know the answers to all the questions.
And the other thing is that the book that you have that's more for financial literacy, but you don't have to be young to not know finances.
Well, let's put it
Because
this way.
I'll tell you too. Go ahead.
The book that I have it's called How Money Works, basically. It's not, let me tell you quite candidly, it's not written at some master's degree thesis level, okay? It's written so that regular people can understand regular things, okay? We're not going to the book does not try to glaze your eyes over with jargon. As a matter of fact, when I work with people and I talk about these various products, I don't talk jargon. I came out of the manufacturing world, I don't talk about applications for insurance. When I talk among my peers, I cause them to laugh, because I say, I had to enter some orders this afternoon, because that's what you do in the manufacturing world. I've not made that full transition, even though I've been at this for close to 30 years.
Well, you know, just call Howard. His number's 602-909-8433, and if any questions that you have, he will help you understand it completely. Just call Howard. Again, I think the other thing that you have here is the information that you like to share and educate people on.
Well, that's one of the missions of my company, basically. The primary mission is to educate people on their financial
Journey.
conditions, basically, so they have a successful journey. Look, there's many people who tell me they're doing great right now, and that's great. I'm happy that they're doing great right now. Some of these people do sit down with me, and we find out they're doing great now, but they're gonna have problems in the future. And I try to alert them to these kinds of problems that they will have. Life is wonderful now, but things happen along the way, and you have to be prepared. I don't want to, one of the mottos of my company, I borrowed from the Boy Scouts long ago, be prepared, okay? You have to be prepared. You have to play the what-if game. You have to answer those questions. Now remember this, for most of you, be you lady or gentleman, you are the financial officer of your family, basically. You have to manage your income, you have to manage your expenses that are current right now, and you have to manage expenses that are in the future. How do you do that? How do you sit down and do that? What do you need to know in order to do that? You probably haven't had the schooling for that, the time on task, as it were, to figure this out. They tell me that many people spend more time planning a 2-week vacation than they do planning their retirement. Sure, I want to retire at 50. I didn't do it, right? But then when people tell me they want to retire at 50, well, what are you going to have to do in order to make that goal come true? Are you a disciplined person? You must be a disciplined person, and then you must exercise discipline upon your family just as well. This all sounds harsh, but this used to be how things were, and I can say this pretty easily back in the day.
And you know, I was just thinking about how many people out there who let their significant other, their spouse, do all of the finances, and then they pass away, and now they're in charge, and they don't even know what to do.
That is so true, and it's unfortunate that we talked about telling stories years ago. Just a few moments ago, we talked about telling stories, and I have a quick one for you. Very good friend, her husband passed away, and she had an opportunity to save a couple of $1,000s on her medication program last year, but she was literally too afraid to make that move by herself. She just, even though I chatted with her, I told her I would receive no commission on changing the plan, that I wasn't doing this to monetize myself. And she still refused to make the change, okay? She was change resistant and fearful of making the change. And that happens, so.
And sometimes you might be fearful of the change, but the change happens whether you're fearful or not.
Yes, it does. I hope this year that she may make the change.
You know what, folks? Just call Howard and he can help you. Everybody should try and be more financial literate for your senior years.
For the senior part of your journey.
Yeah, and
right.
So say it, because I'm not saying it outright.
Well, you said it right. You want to be safe during the senior part of your journey. You want the right housing, you want the right medical care. I mean, you just want things to be absolutely right, and you got to do those things when you're young. So I work with both types of populations.
Just call Howard at 602-909-8433. Ask for the white paper. Ask for the book, which is How Money Works. Again, call Howard at 602-909-8433.